Okay, we are going to do part 2 now of section 4.8 on complex numbers. So let's begin with complex conjugates. And A plus BI is a conjugate with A minus BI. And A minus BI is a conjugate with A plus BI. All right, now let's prove what the product of A plus BI times the A minus BI, let's prove what that is. We know we're going to get A squared plus B squared, but let's prove that. So using the FOIL method, A times A for our first term is A squared. Outside terms would be A times a negative BI, so that's a negative ABI. The inside terms would be a positive ABI. And the last term is in parentheses, or a negative sign outside of parentheses with B squared, I squared. Okay, now combining like terms, the middle terms cancel out. So a negative ABI and a positive ABI cancel each other out. And B squared is in the product with an I squared, remembering that I squared is equal to a negative 1. So when I replace I squared with a negative 1, and I've got that negative sign outside the parentheses there, the two negatives make that a positive. So I'd have A squared plus B squared left over.
And you can see what happens when you do that is the imaginary part goes away. And that's really why we use complex conjugates, because we're going to go into problem 5, and problem 5 says we want to find the quotient. And if you remember when we had radicals on our denominator, we couldn't have radicals there, so we multiplied by the conjugate there. Here we're multiplying by the complex conjugate because we don't want imaginary numbers in our denominator. So you want to make a note, can't have I in your denominator. And so to get rid of the I, we multiply top and bottom by the conjugate of the denominator. So what we're going to multiply for A is we're going to multiply the top and bottom by A minus I. 8, minus I. So top and bottom gets multiplied by that. On the top, we're just going to distribute. So you're going to get 56I minus 7I squared. And on the bottom, you could go through and FOIL everything out, but you're going to see that the outside and inside term cancel. And remember, it's just going to be A squared plus B squared on the bottom. So A in this case is 8, so I get 64. B is 1. It's 1I, so 64 plus 1 squared is 64 plus 1. So the bottom turns into 65. And on the top, that negative 7I squared, that's going to turn into plus 7. Again, I squared is negative 1. So I'm going to rewrite it as 7 plus 56I on the top, putting it in A plus BI form. And then what I usually do is just separate it out. So I get 7 over 65 plus 56 over 65I. That way we have our real part and we have our imaginary part.
Okay, in letter B, we've got 5 plus 2I divided by 3 minus 2I. The conjugate would be 3 plus 2I, and I'm going to multiply both the top and the bottom by 3 plus 2I. Now we're going to use the FOIL method to multiply our two numerators together. So 5 times 3 is 15. And then we have the outside of 10I and the inside of 6I, making 16I. And then my last term, 2I times 2I, is going to equal 4I squared. I squared is a negative 1 times 4 is a negative 4. On the bottom, we're going to have 3 times 3 is 9. And then I have 2I times 3 is 6I positive, and then the inside term is a negative 6I. So we know that those are going to cancel each other out. And then a negative 2I times a positive 2I is a negative 4I squared once again. And I squared is a negative 1. So we're going to get 9 plus 4, or 13 in the denominator. The numerator has 15 and negative 4, which are two real parts that could be added to 11. plus 16i, giving me a final answer of 11 plus 16i, all divided by 13. And as Ms. Schenzer says, she likes to write it as 11 over 13 plus 16i over 13.
Good, so that's the answer to A and B. So it's kind of like rationalizing denominator, multiply top and by the conjugate. Just remember you can't leave I in the denominator, okay? So problem 6, we're gonna do problem 6 real quick here. Here I just have an x squared term, so I'm gonna solve it by isolating my x squared term first. So I'm gonna subtract 12, and then I'm going to divide by 3, so I get x squared equals negative 4. And if I want to get x and I have x squared, I'm going to take the square root of both sides. And when you introduce square root, do not forget the positive and the negative. So I get plus or minus the square root of negative 4, and negative 4 again is 2i. So we have our answer right there. And there should be 2 solutions. You got the positive 2i and the negative 2i.
Okay, in problem 7, a good example of using complex numbers is to use the quadratic formula. Okay, so I want the solutions, and the first thing I want to do is name what A, B, and C would be. A is a negative 1, B is 4, and C is equal to a negative 5. Substituting into our quadratic formula, we're going to have a negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 16 minus 4 times a negative 1 times a negative 5, all divided by a negative 2. Okay, let's simplify the radical first. We've got 16 and then minus 4 times minus 1 times minus 5 is a negative 20, and 16 minus 20 is a negative 4. All right, now look at what's happening there. We've got the square root of a negative 4, and we can't, in the past we've said that that's not something that we can do, but now what we can do is take the square root of 4, which is 2, and then the square root of I,
Or negative 1 is I.
negative 1 is I. So we get negative 4 plus or minus 2i, all divided by a negative 2, and then 2 and 4 are factors of 2, so let's take a factor of 2 out, leaving me with a negative 2 plus or minus I, all divided by
A negative 1.
a negative 1.
Yeah, I just divided everything by negative 2. So negative 4 divided by negative 2, I get a positive 2. And then if you divide 2 by a negative 2, you're going to get a negative 1i. But it ends up being 2 plus I and 2 minus I. Right? Those are your 2 solutions. And I just want to key back a little bit. If we remember the last lesson we went over in 4.7, we talked about the discriminant. And if you look at our discriminant here, our discriminant was negative. If you remember back in 4.7, we said no real solution, right? But there really are solutions. They're just complex solutions because we have the I, the imaginary value. So that was lesson 4.8, complex numbers. We learned how to identify, graph, and perform operations with complex numbers. And we were able to use complex numbers as solutions of quadratic equations.